Hey guys, it's been a hot minute. Sorry, I just worked out on my bike over there. If you can see, I tried to do I guess it's a hit bike. I don't know. They call it interval, but man, I cannot last on that thing when I'm on keto. I wiped out. Nothing left in my legs. Maybe that's because I skipped a few weeks. Anyways, I wanted to come on here and do an update because some things have been going on with me. Just here in my garage gym. It's a little messy. If I can kind of show you. We've got pull-up bar. I'm practicing trying to do pull-ups and ouch. And we got exercise bike, a rower, and an elliptical. Oh, and my weights. But I don't really use the elliptical much. I really like the bike. Been doing the ice and the workouts because I like the scenery. Yeah, it's fun. Except today, man, whoo! I tell you, my legs are jello. But yeah, let's get to the update. How long has it been? Like 3 weeks ago, went to the ER for abdominal pain. Thought I was having another obstruction because I've been throwing up a lot. I've been, I was getting like sweaty different times of the day. And then I have this horrible bloating where it looks like I'm about to have a baby or something, and I'm not pregnant, and it's painful. And then I'm super constipated, which, if you have a DS, is a little abnormal in itself. Normal poop for us is 1 to 2 times a day in the morning. But yeah, and they couldn't find anything in my stomach, or so they say, but it was abnormal on the CT. They tried to do an x-ray and they're just like, well, you're full of poop. Well, that's how the DS works. But sorry, this is a little shaky. Maybe I'll go sit down on my bench if I can get to it. I was trying to reorganize here. Okay. And anyways, wow, I really pale in the light. Anyways, they found some dilated loops, which, if you're familiar with bowel obstructions, can indicate an obstruction. But the radiologist chucked it up to surgical changes. But I noticed now it's at like a 4-something centimeter dilation, where last November, my bike's yelling at me because I stopped the workout. Last November it was like at a 3, so whatever it is going on with my intestines, it's getting bigger or worse. So I sent the images to Dr. K for an opinion. He thought, well, I haven't heard back from him from the images yet because I just sent them, but before talking with him, he was saying that he thought either my plastics was done too tight and it's putting pressure on my colon, and that's just causing the constipation, or I could possibly have an obstruction in the loop of intestine that just has the digestive juices. And, it's like midnight right now, so I can't even think of what it's called, so forgive me on that. I just finished like a 12-hour work day, which is a little better than my 16 hours I've been pulling a week, trying to cover for people. But that's a whole nother story in itself. Anyways, during the abdominal CT, they also found something in my lungs. And so they did a CT chest and found out it's a bunch of small pulmonary embolisms in like the lower lobes and the outer, I think it's subsegmental and segmental lobes. Just small ones, so they weren't too bad, but still, you know, you gotta go on anticoagulation and stuff for 3 months. They think it was because of my NuvaRing, so that's great. And, you know, I was just reading up on it, and it says something like 6.5 times more likely to get a clot than people not taking it, because it's like always absorbed, which versus a pill, you know, you just, I don't know how it works, but that's what that study said. So, oh boy, that's just great. So now, and then they couldn't put me on like Eliquis or anything because of the malabsorption, so they have me on Coumadin. So I'm in the lab 2 times a week, and just to get the levels right, because everything you eat, what you weigh, and how much exercise you do can affect the levels. So it's just like everything. And then you can't take vitamin K, and I've been running into weird things with that. I asked my doctor to check it, and she's like, oh, there's no lab test for it, but you should be fine not taking your vitamin K. And I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure I can order it myself on, you know, one of those walk-in lab things. But whatever. No real side effects yet, so we'll see how it goes with the vitamin K. Like no weird bruising or bleeding or whatever. At least I know. And then what's even worse is I have heavy periods from fibroids, and you know, when you're on I can't even talk tonight. Anticoagulation or blood thinners, you know, you can bleed easily and have it not stop right away. So I'm really nervous about having a period, so we're just gonna see how it goes. They gave me progesterone pills to stop it if I have to, and you know, they're always like, oh, go to the ER if it gets too bad. And that's great, because I really do not want to live in the ER, you know what I mean? But anyways, went back to the ER a week later because I couldn't breathe, and they did a CT and said it was clear. So whatever it was is gone, but they still want me on the anticoagulation for 3 months. So that's just great. I, you know, had some surgeries planned, but that's been put on hold. And that's like, you know, problem number 1. But the main problems I've been having have been, we just found out, it's from my DS. And so what I mentioned the constipation, abdominal pain, bloating. It's been going on for a few years now. And I just kind of put up with it. You know, I guess I thought it was like normal-ish, like, and then, you know, it just wasn't. And so I was having a lot of oily stools, even though my fat intake wasn't, you know, as high as it once been. And you know, I just didn't think anything of it. And just with, you know, the DS, you malabsorb fat, so I got, you know, it made sense to me. You know, whatever, I'll just change what I'm eating. And then now they're telling me that it could affect how I'm absorbing some vitamins. You know, I don't know. I keep getting different opinions from different doctors because I moved somewhere where there's not a DS surgeon per se. And so I'm just getting advice, you know, just like their generic advice. So that's why I paid to go see Dr. K, and just different opinions from everywhere. And I've been having a lot of deficiencies, even though I, you know, take my vitamins religiously. And I even had some protein deficiencies, even though at one point I was taking like 300 grams of protein a day. I was still deficient, which is just ridiculous to me. Like, the heck, you know? And then, here I am trying to build muscle, and I'm just losing it left and right. I went on a walk today, and it was just like, I felt so weak afterwards, but maybe that's just a low carb, I don't know. I've only been doing low carb for a couple weeks, so I got into some bad habits, bad iced coffee habit, and just junk, and it's like, it's hard to like give it up again, the surgery is not on your mind or your brain, and it can be so easy, especially, with COVID and lockdowns and just, not leaving the house to get into bad habits, and so now I'm dealing with, a 63-pound weight gain, and I thought, I'll just get back on the low carb train, but then doctors are telling me, well, since it's more than 30-pound gain, we have to do something surgically. All right. And then with not just with protein, there's been other deficiencies, especially electrolytes, that, like, no matter how much salt I eat, like, I would add salt to everything. Probably like 4,000 milligrams a day. I don't know. And then I would even eat fast food just for the salt. And that's where my bad habits, came from too. And I just couldn't get it up, and I was having symptoms from it. Excuse me. And then there's potassium, and they don't want me to take any more potassium pills because I'm already on it. And then, I can't just eat a banana because you don't absorb it. And then, if you're trying to do low carb, well, that's not really in the write-up for that. What else? Oh, calcium was a big one. Been struggling with that one for a while. They think my scoliosis that suddenly appeared might have something to do with it. They don't know, Scoliosis happens in normal people, so it's just one of those things where, we don't know. And I was also having numbness in my extremities and these horrible muscle cramps out of nowhere. And so I had to increase my calcium, and they think that's what's causing the constipation. But it's like, do I want osteoporosis and be able to poop, or, but I've noticed even when I accidentally skip a dose or two that it's still pretty constipated. And when I'm talking constipation, I'm talking like, and here we go, poop talk, so skip ahead if you don't want to hear it. I got 3 toddlers, so no shame here talking about poop. It's like painful large, and it doesn't come out. And so the only way I can go to the bathroom anymore is with an enema. And when you have to give yourself an enema every day for the past couple months in front of your toddlers, because there's no privacy in the house, it gets a little draining. So finally I had enough, went to go see all these specialists, and so they're recommending I reverse the switch for all these things because it's not being corrected, and if I don't get the protein up, then I have to go on TPN, and it's taxing mentally as well as physically, and as you get older, it's only going to get worse. I've thought about that for a while, and so, I was kind of on board with it, and so then I have to decide, do I want to re-sleeve or not? And then one doctor I saw suggested a gastric bypass because I have GERD, and GERD is not something that you want to keep having, just, not even just for the unpleasantliness of it, because it can erode the esophagus to where you get, it can lead to esophageal cancer, and ain't nobody got time for that. And I do have reflux pretty bad. They think that's why I'm throwing up, that and the constipation. sometimes a Zofran don't even cover that. And I did notice it like last night, but I did have a protein shake right before bed, so I remember like right when I had the DS, like we had to like lift the bed up because I would wake up throwing up in my sleep, and sometimes I still get that. And they did find a hiatal hernia, but they said it's small, so they don't know if that is contributing now, and possibly just the extra weight on it. So they said if they do the re-sleeve, it could get worse, and so that's why that doctor is recommending the bypass. But the bypass kind of worries me, man. Like, I just hear so many horror stories from friends, and I just worry about another obstruction. And just, like, I'm trading one deficiency for another, or just one problem for another. I feel like I would be that person that gets every complication in the book again. So I'm leaning towards the re-sleeve option with the reversal. But then, the reflex, it would be so nice to wake up and not have that burning, gnawing feeling because, I'm 5 seconds late on eating breakfast, or I had a sip of coffee, or whatever, And then, trying to do keto now, I don't want to be one of those people that don't try to do keto. That's just what's worked for me in the past. And another problem I was having is they found fatty liver. So that's just why I'm like, nope, carbs have got to go. Like, I've even, for the constipation, I even tried upping my fat to like crazy amounts just to, get things moving, and it didn't work. And I tried getting rid of, I went grain-free. That didn't do anything, but I'm still trying to stay grain-free, and now I've even cut any artificial anything pretty much, except I do have some sugar-free stuff in my coffee because coffee. Other than that, I try not to eat processed. Say try, because we're all human, and every now and then we have, I don't know, something. Also trying, I think it's called Factor. They have keto meals, so I thought it's probably better than whatever I can make for lunch. And so I've tried some of those, and they're pretty good. I can make another video on that. But yeah, I'm just like, I'm just at a loss, I guess. Like, I'm that 2% that failed the DS. Well, the surgery didn't fail me. I failed the surgery because of my bad habits, but it was just, I thought it was one of those things where you could just take your vitamins and be fine, but for me, my body had other ideas. And it's just kind of an emotional time because here I am almost 10 years out, and don't be like me. It is what it is. I'm trying to accept it and move on because that's all you can do. And so I guess I'm going to finish this workout and go to bed. Because gotta get up in the morning again for work. Yeah. That's pretty much all I've got for right now. It's not where I thought I would see myself in almost 10 years, but I will update you guys if I ever hear about anything else, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Hope you're all doing well. Bye.